Hello, my name is Tosing Omolaja, and you're welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health, where we bring you all the important information you need to know about NAFDAC. The agency is saddled with the responsibility of safeguarding our health by ensuring that the foods, drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment made available to us are safe and wholesome.
Today on the program, we will be touching on COVID-19, its vaccine, and reports on reactions encountered after taking the vaccine. COVID-19 vaccination in Nigeria is an ongoing immunization campaign against severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, the virus that causes coronavirus disease, COVID-19.
As it is right now, we are receiving vaccines from COVAX facility. Once we get the 20% for the population, we will start buying our own. However, there is no vaccine that comes into the country that we don't test. Because people thought that we just, so once a bigger regulatory agency has approved, we take it. Once WHO has approved, we take it. No. Of course, we have confidence, we rely on them, but we go further than that. So if there are 10 different testing that we have to do, we focus on 3, 4, 5 that are critical and that we have capability to do, and we test them. If they don't pass, we don't release, because our goal is to safeguard the health of our people. So the vaccine lab is going to bring the level of confidence of manufacturers up. The vaccine manufacturers. I'm hoping that within a year or so, there will be the first manufacturing company for vaccines in Nigeria.
As a regulatory body, we followed all the trends, all the developments, what WHO was doing, and how WHO got into the stage of emergency use, listing. Then, because we are following all these developments, for our people, we now felt, yes, it was now time for us. We constituted actually a vaccine committee within the agency, which was following up all these developments to come up with something that is workable for this country. So when the emergency use listing was done, the dossiers were made available. Now, the committee went through the dossier. This committee is made of different directorates with different fields and areas of specialization. And for pharmacovigilance, the safety aspect of it is key to us. Safety of it is very key to us. So the safety aspect of it was the part that we keep reviewing. So, and eventually we got to the point of approval, granting emergency use authorization by the agency. Then the vaccine. So, and all this while too, we also had a multi-agency group, technical working group, in which we are, well represented. So that technical working group was working on, by the time that the vaccine is available, what are we going to do? What are the steps that we're going to take? So steps where, we came up with preparedness, for the administration of the vaccine. So of course we related with organizations like National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, WHO, UNICEF, NCDC. So we had all these, teams in place. So they were all working on how we can collaborate to make things work.
In a bid to ensure effective administration of the COVID-19 vaccine, the Deputy Director, National Pharmacovigilance Directorate, Pharmacist Mrs. Uchenna Elewuma, gives an insight of the activities of the agency.
We know that the vaccines are already in country, and prior to the arrival of the vaccines, there is a technical working group established by the National Primary Health Care, where different partners and stakeholders came together to discuss in relation to making plans for the vaccines to come in. Now, a lot of actions and activities and plans that were already planned out earlier are already being carried out. For example, we know that once the vaccines arrive, it has to be deployed to states that will be involved in the implementation. So a lot of monitors have been deployed to the different states to help the states in the planning sections, so that every activities in terms of training of healthcare workers that will be administering the vaccines are well and adequately trained, and also to be able to monitor for adverse events following immunization. We know that the novel COVID-19 vaccine is a new one, and the true safety profile has not been identified. So a lot of trainings are ongoing right now to ensure that health workers understand what to do, how many doses, how to administer, and also be able to monitor and adequately report any adverse events identified.
She adds that the agency has been able to put in place plans that will help in tracking the vaccines.
In terms of what we have put in place based on our plans, now that the vaccines have come, now there is something about traceability. We want to be sure that the vaccines that we have approved to be used in country are actually the vaccines that are going to be deployed. And we know that pharmacovigilance and vaccine safety links up with making sure that the proper vaccines are used, so that in case of an adverse event, we are able to be sure, okay, it is the vaccine we approved that are given out to the end users. So there is this traceability component of it, where when the vaccines came in, our NAFDAC officers that have been trained had to go to the airport to track and document all the vaccines brought into the country. And the system we are using is the track and trace.
We have conducted the commissioning of the vaccines at the Central Cold Store and the scanning of these vaccines across this various supply chain in Nigeria, so that we can have information about the movement of the vaccines from the Central Cold Store down to the states, to the local governments, and to selected healthcare facilities where the COVID-19 vaccines are being dispensed. The essence for this is to ensure that we are able to trace the vaccines and to use the data that we have collected to support our pharmacovigilance efforts. Data we gather from the various pilots will help inform the regulations that we develop and publish for the stakeholders to comply to. It will provide us learnings, useful learnings, to be able to understand the peculiarities around the deployment or the implementation of traceability in Nigeria. So this is part of our 5-year implementation plan for traceability in Nigeria. So being able to track COVID-19 vaccines is one of the pilots we are going to be engaging in, or that we are currently engaging in the public sector space.
NAFDAC and your rails will be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. If you are just joining in, you're watching NAFDAC and your rails.
Speaking on issues surrounding the COVID-19 vaccine intake, Mrs. Uchenna Elewuma gives an insight on the safety of the vaccine.
We know that COVID-19 vaccine is just like any other vaccines that we have been using in country for immunization, both for the children immunization and for the adult immunization. And we know the process of conferring that immunity in people. We know vaccines, once given, kind of elicit an antibody-antigen reaction that now allows the body to produce its own antibodies that will fight any virus that comes into the body. That's the mechanism of action for vaccines. And COVID-19 vaccine is not different from any other vaccines that have been used for immunization. And it is critical that people come up and take the vaccine, because it is going to be, it's protective. It will help you build immunity against the COVID-19 disease virus. So people need to actually come out. The vaccine is safe. It's just that it is new. But a lot of people are worried about the number of years used for the development of the vaccine. But we know that there are so many technologies that are coming up that can actually improve production. So the COVID-19 vaccine has been adequately manufactured in a way that it is to be used based on its indication. People should come out. The whole essence of vaccination is to create herd immunity. Once many people take the vaccine, that herd immunity is built. So a lot of people can be protected within the country. But when people are running away from the COVID-19 vaccine, we will not be able to build that herd immunity, and it becomes a problem. Already we know that COVID-19 disease, since its outbreak, it's a pandemic globally. A lot of people have died from the disease, and there is need for us to take it headlong and ensure that we contain the virus. And the only way we can do this is for people to come out and take the vaccines. A lot of people have taken it. There has not been so many serious adverse events noted from different countries, even though there are still some minor AFIs and also some serious AFIs noted in some countries. We are also, from the strategic immunizations going on in the country, we're monitoring. We have not gotten something that is out of the blues. We know that, yes, the vaccine is safe, but people should make up their minds, because it's either the disease kills you or the other. So the vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine, is actually very safe. But the only thing we're telling people is that, yes, it's a new vaccine. We should monitor it after receiving it and be able to report anything that we have noted. This information will help the country take informed regulatory decisions based on whatever feedback we get from the field. But we can only get that feedback only when people have taken that vaccine.
When you introduce something foreign to the body should react. The body naturally should acknowledge that something from outside has come in. It's part of the sensing. So that site of injection, you're likely going to have experienced some minor pains, and sometimes some irritations, and sometimes, depending on who you are, you could have some slight headaches, you could have some weaknesses, but you discover that within a short time, many people recovered. Many recovered from all the side effects. And it's normal. It is normal with any other vaccine. It is not a new thing. It is normal with any other vaccine. We have been used to vaccines, all our lives. All our lives. And we know, sometimes when you look at your shoulder, you will notice that, it left a mark there. Virtually almost everybody has that mark. So these are part of the things that were experienced. Sometimes, of course, a small swelling, sometimes a small whump, sometimes, a kind of feverish, experience. But after a short while, all these are gone. So by and large, what we can actually tell you as an agency is that, look, the advantage of taking the vaccine outweighs the disadvantage. Because you may think that the adverse events are disadvantages, but the safety of it is still better.
In a bid to ensure effective reporting on adverse reactions of the COVID-19 vaccine, NAFDAC has created a platform to enable easy reporting.
So we have identified an electronic-based format of reporting adverse events, because in the previous ones that is being implemented, we see a lot of gaps in terms of people may not know how to fill the form. Even when they fill the form, transmitting it to the national, where adequate regulatory decision is to be taken, there is actually a delay. And for the National Expert Committee to carry out causality assessments of the identified adverse event following immunization becomes a problem. So the electronic platform has been created, which is called the MedSafety app. A lot of trainings are ongoing in that area to be able to get people to actually use the MedSafety app to report adverse events following immunization.
The paper was the traditional way we're using, but most times the reports never get to the center. So we had to use the app for it to get to the center and promptly. But in addition, NAFDAC felt that we needed to release NAFDAC officers out to monitor the reporting of this. So all the officers nationwide, the NAFDAC, the pharmacovigilance focal persons were released in all the states, and we followed adequately. Many times, some of the centers, the people are unable to probably report using the MedSafety app. This time around, we put them through, and that now encouraged them to put the subsequent ones into the app. And that was what gave us the success story. If we hadn't followed up, there's no way we would have had the number that came into it. Even though still, we discovered that we still had some that were not able to come because there was no problem. The cascading of the technical working group down to the states, there were we experienced some gaps. So some of those gaps was what we saw that came in form of the paper base. But the paper base now has been received from National Primary Healthcare, and we're already uploading them through the MedSafety app. So that's what happened, and we recorded a huge success because before then we had also trained the different stakeholders, especially the disease surveillance notification officers in all the states. We trained them in all the geopolitical zones, and they were most of the people that also help us to report. So because they have been trained and they've downloaded the forms, so reporting, where they had issues, when we meet them and we encourage them or we put them through, then the reporting became something that they were also interested to do. So that gave us all the success that we had.
The MedSafety app is the latest reporting tool introduced by the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control in November 2020 as part of the Innovative Medicines Initiative project. The app is made available to the public in collaboration with World Health Organization, Uppsala Monitoring Center, Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, UK, and National Agency for Food, Drugs and Administration and Control, NAFDAC. The MedSafety app allows users to track safety information of medicines, vaccines and other health products, report adverse drug reaction to a medicine or vaccine, and view data on suspected side effects. When you have received your COVID-19 vaccine, you can use the MedSafety app to report any adverse reaction or side effect you may feel. The app can be used by anybody, irrespective of whether you are a medical practitioner or not. You, your family and friends, everyone can download and use the MedSafety app to report adverse drug reaction. Just search for MedSafety on Google Play Store for Android and App Store for iOS. When using the app for the first time, the user needs to select his or her region. In this case, Nigeria, and also choose the preferred language of choice. The user will then be taken to the login page where you create an account by providing your email and password or proceed as a guest. To create an account, you are required to provide the following details: reporter type, example, physician or pharmacist, as well as their name and email address, password with at least 9 characters with 1 uppercase letter and a number. Read the privacy statement and accept. Once you are logged in, the user is presented with a number of tabs, which includes news, products and watch lists. Under the Report tab, the user can report a new suspected adverse drug reaction (ADR). On opening a new report, the user is prompted to impute patient details which include initials, sex, and date of birth. The user is then required to impute details of the suspected medicine. These include suspected medicine name, other drug details such as strength, batch, dosage details. Multiple suspect drugs and concomitant drugs can be added at any time. The report can be saved and completed at a later time. A saved report can be found on pending reports and can be continued by clicking on the report and continuing from where the user stopped. Enter reaction details, reaction date and outcomes. Multiple suspects' reaction can also be added. Also, further details about the report can also be included, such as did the reaction cause prolonged hospitalization, disability, congenital anomaly, or birth defect, life-threatening results in deaths, and so on. Finally, you can also add details of any relevant medical history before submitting the report. The user receives a message on the app confirming submission and an acknowledgement in the mail for submission. Reports can be created and saved without internet connection and be sent whenever internet connection is available. The product tabs show all medicines in the NAFDAC list database. It's easier to navigate to a drug or vaccine of interest, and this data is obtained from the WHO Uppsala Monitoring Center. User can also add products of interest to their watch list to get the latest information on the drugs. All products added to the watch list can be viewed in the watch list tab. The News tab displays drug safety information by NAFDAC. This is usually up to date with drug safety information. Registered users can also edit their profile or change app settings. For more information on the app, please contact the National Pharmacovigilance Center (NPC) at NAFDAC headquarters, plot 2032, Olusegun Obasanjo Way, Wuse Zone 7, Abuja, or call 09290511110 or send email to medsafetyapp@nafdac.gov.ng or pharmacovigilance@nafdac.gov.ng.
That's our package for today. Please join us same time, same station next week for a fresh edition. In the meantime, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food product peddlers, our doors are always open.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email nafdac@nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
NAFDAC prioritizes customer satisfaction, which is why our motto says we are customer focused, agency minded. Kindly visit our website to fill a short customer satisfaction survey to help us serve you better. Remember, COVID-19 is real. Please ensure you and your family follow the safety measures as outlined by the NCDC. Stay away from crowded places as much as possible. And if you must be out there, please wear a face mask. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water and ensure you use only NAFDAC-approved alcohol-based hand sanitizers. See you next week. Stay safe.